This is your boy, Mr. Luke Evan Brooks. What was your first trip like on Turo or on any other rental platform? I have a story for you that you do not want to miss out. You got to listen to this all the way to the end. Stay tuned. Hey guys, if you're new to the channel, please make sure you subscribe. This is where you get all the updates about the car industry and Turo, all the rules that's coming in, all the things that you may not be aware of, I bring it here on this channel. So today we're gonna talk about my story. I think the best story is my story, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it required me to do something illegal. Illegal, basically. Not really illegal, like I wasn't robbing a bank or anything, but this dealt with me with my first car rental. And before I was on Turo, I was on a company called Avail. Avail was a company based in Utah that allowed you to have cars in certain places, like in Charlotte and Miami or in Orlando or in Washington, D.C. and Chicago, all these different areas, right? And what happened was is that I went home to go visit my family with the intention of buying a vehicle. And I thought that I had the right vehicle on me. I was like, okay, this is gonna work, this is gonna be great, blah blah blah. And I asked the man, like, is there any issues with the vehicle as far as any recalls? And he said, well, it's just one minor recall. There's nothing to be worried about. It can be easily fixed at a shop or whatnot. We can't fix it here, but you can fix it at a shop. And I said, I need to know because I can't use this vehicle if it has any recalls that cannot be fixed. Lo and behold, we shook hands, we went ahead and said we're gonna take off. Come to find out, actually, 2 days later, they said we cannot place your vehicle onto the platform due to a recall on it. And a recall, you're not gonna believe, the trunk release. So people don't realize that the trunk release has got that neon glow in the dark handle. If you get stuck in the trunk, you pull that handle, you get out. And they've been going on like almost 25, 26 years. They already have these things in place. And what it involves is that if the car got too hot one day and the cord starts to melt, basically it's not even a metal cord, it can just fall out in place and you be stuck in the trunk. And I'm like, are you serious? And they say, yeah, it's dead serious. So I went around, looked on eBay. I even bought the part thinking, okay, you just got to replace this part. Because I could fix it, but I can't change the code in the system. I say something, say call Hyundai. Because I think it was a launcher. That's what I was going to get. I called them and they like, no, you can't fix this. And so even though we got the part, say it's not about the part's still going to be the same. It's a recall with a process of how this thing supposed to work. No one can just sit there and change that code. You have to go to a shop that can change it, but we don't have a solution yet. And now understand, this was during COVID time. So like people weren't so willing to be like, I need a car. It was like stuck in the house. So I was like, okay, understand. So I only have so many days before the car stuck with me. And I already took leave. So if y'all don't understand on the military terms, leave is like you're taking your R&R or your PTO, and they gave you permission to take it. They give you usually a piece of paper, say, hey, you can go out, take your vacation or whatever. And I didn't take it for the second time. I went on that plane that Friday, early for Friday afternoon. I went there. And once I went there, I didn't look back. I came back the same day. As soon as I got that car taken care of, I flew out the same day. And I'm telling you, I flew from California to North Carolina and back. Now, you know that's a feat right there. Like, crossing the country. And a lot of people don't believe that, but that's a true story. That's a true story right there. So what came down to it was that we switched out the Elantra for Ford Fusion, a 2019 Ford Fusion, and it's still with us today. And I think it was the best choice. Maybe that was the move to make versus dealing with another car like that, like the Elantra. Is not that big, not in my opinion, but the Ford Fusion really took it out. It really made things better, and it's been going. I mean, we just recently got it out of the shop, but that car keeps going and I'm thankful for that. Now, I don't want you guys to fall through this issue. what things that you need to avoid. Make sure the dealer is not trying to set you up for failure. And what I mean by that is that they tell you, oh, it's just a simple recall. No, you got to do your own research and understand how that recall impacts you. Because if I would have kept that vehicle, I would have been stuck with it until the recall would be resolved. And that vehicle could not be driven. So, policy with Turo and what it used to be with Avail is that the car could not have any open recalls. Hence, that's why I usually stick with older cars. I don't want to get a brand new car. Oh, we got all these recalls we didn't fix, and then they delist your vehicle. So you got to be cautious with that. If you want to go with a new vehicle, just be known that if your vehicle has a recall, they would delist your vehicle. They would say, hey, go get it fixed, and you don't have control over that. I didn't want to have that situation. I wanted a car that could actually have all its kinks worked out for a few years and put it on the platform. Another thing is that shop around. Like, even if that guy at the dealership was gonna give me a bad deal or whatnot, I was willing to turn that car back in and go somewhere else. I had the time to do it. I mean, short time, but I had time. Another thing that I would say in consideration is make sure you build great rapport with whoever you're dealing with. So when I was dealing with the folks at the dealership, they knew that I was doing this underneath an LLC. I was doing this underneath my business, and I wanted to make sure that was processed correctly. Not trying to have me go through a various amount of loans. Because when I went down to Charlotte, a lot of people were just trying to run credit to see what I can get. And I'm like, I don't want that car. I'm not paying $18,000 for a 2000, I think it was a 2012 vehicle. And so it's a hybrid. It's got battery and fuel. No one cares. No one cares. So you got to be able to stand on your ground, because folks will try to jump you into a car, especially in these times and days. Now, when I got that car, that started a chain reaction where it's like, hey, let's go back and get another vehicle. And before I took off to go to Rhode Island, because I was wrapping up my tour over in San Diego, I bought another vehicle, and that vehicle was a Nissan Sentra, and that is like the number one vehicle in the Charlotte area. And I'm not saying my vehicle in particular, but as far as cars that are being rented out constantly, that's the vehicle. And I think, I think the heavens above that I have that vehicle. And you got to have cars that you can be able to do now. If I were to go back, because people say, hey, what would you change if we go back? I think I would have kept that combination, but my whole strategy would have been different. Because remember, when I started off with this, that car, that Ford Fusion and that Nissan was underneath Avail, not Turo. I didn't even think about Turo because I thought it was going to be too hard. I thought, oh man, I got to do all this. I got to have people outside and things. I got to be outside, but I'm going overseas. How's this going to work? And I started to eliminate those processes, those barriers. It's like, hey, this is how you're going to do this. This is how you're going to operate your fleet. These are some of the things that you have to do to actually operate remotely. As I told you before, I am not living in the United States of America. I will say it again, not living in America. I am actually living in the Kingdom of Bahrain, operating a fleet remotely. Meaning that I just got to push a couple of buttons here, maybe a couple of hours a day, not even a couple of hours, maybe 30 minutes to an hour. I might spend 4 hours a week just making sure my fleet is taken care of. If I don't have anything going out, day off, still getting paid. And I'm willing to teach y'all about that. If I could go back and tell myself this, is that get cash cars. Cash cars are the main thing that you want to have because your return on your investment. Not knocking the Ford Fusion or the Nissan. They've done me great work. And my whole thing is just like, hey, how much money can you get back so you can get another vehicle? And this may be your first car, and you might be thinking, oh, I'm only making $600. Well, how much is that going to your insurance? How much is that going for your maintenance or whatnot? You got to put money away to buy the next thing, and then you scale and you scale and you scale. And my book talks about that. It's called Starting Out on Turo. Starting Out on Turo talks about how to get your processes together. What I done, the mistakes that I made, I put in that book so you do not have to make those same mistakes. If you're serious about really starting out, you really don't know, the book is here and it's down the link down below. You can go ahead click on that link and see what this book about. It's a quick read. You might say, why did you get this book started? The reason why I got this book started is to help people. First off, I wanted to help people. I didn't want people to get to run around, have to go read through instructions. Like, as a person serving the military and we're constantly reading through instructions, your time is limited. Versus you as a potential host or a new host, you don't have time to go through all that stuff. You could do it, but you might be like, okay, I'm lost in the sauce, especially people who are not so familiar with the car rental industry. Instead of going through that, I have a book that is short, it's right to the point, it gets you right through everything you need to know and some more. So if you're serious about making that change, if you really want to do this, go ahead, click on the link down below. And also for the folks who say, hey, I'm ready for this, I already got the book, I'm ready for the next thing, here is the course called Car Share Genius, the masterclass. Go ahead, click on that. That's more of a video interactive course, and this is where I break out all the templates, the scenarios, and I show you scales, I show you charts of exactly where you want to be at on your depreciation with your vehicle, when you need to push it out, to sell it, to get something new, and what's the cost of maintenance and whatnot, and much more. It's about 28 modules, but you can get through it if you really want it, and it's not a crazy course. You're not going to have to be a rocket science to understand this. So guys, that's right there. But going back onto what I was saying is that if you really want to make that change with your fleet, or you start on a fleet, go ahead and go for it and avoid those mistakes that I talked about. I gotta ask you a question, guys. If you are a host, what was your first car? And what process did you go through to get it? Did you pay cash? Did you pay credit? What was the story? Drop your comments down below and we'll have a conversation about it. Until then, guys, I will see you next time. Take care. Peace.